Oh, freedom. Why is that important? Well, uh, many would argue that it's very hard to innovate anything at all without some degree of freedom. So, start there. Um, and to illustrate that, we see this often in little kids. I think it's when they're around 2 years old or something like that, when they just really start trying to push boundaries, just seeing what they can get away with, and if the parents are weak or get caught off guard and they allow the kid to just um, go wherever the kid wants to take everything and run the show, then yeah, they're gonna run into a whole bunch of problems later. So, but there's something about this time in a child's life, in a child's development, that's always kind of struck an interest to me because I really don't think we stop. I think once we start, I don't think we ever stop testing boundaries. I think we spend most of our lives, maybe we just become more sophisticated in the ways we go about it. But I think we spend most of our lives, especially those of us who are curious, and adventurous, we spend most of our lives constantly trying to push and sometimes pushing the same boundaries over and over again, going, leaving them and then going back to that and check again. Maybe the boundaries aren't fixed over here. Maybe they were pretty fixed last time, and then I come back to it and I try again. Oh, a breakthrough over here. So yeah, it's and this is how we sculpt the world as well. We change those boundaries and barriers over time. They change as we change, and as we grow. As individuals and as humanity as a whole, those boundaries are gonna be shifting and changing all the time. It's just like this constant little motion there between order and chaos. You have too much order, for example, you end up very stale and stagnated because you've put everything into a fixed mold. Nothing new ever happens, and it becomes boring. And somebody gets a great creative idea, but nope, we fixed this. This is the one way we do it. We don't change, and it's like it's working like that, and we don't build on it or anything. So while on the other end, if you have constant chaos, well, it's, yeah, you can get a whole bunch of very new, crazy, vivid, interesting ideas, but it's very hard to make them to structure them into something that's going to be that you're going to be able to drive forth and keep staying consistent with, because you have no order to keep it on that track. So as far as this question with chaos and order, I've found that you need just the right amount of order to complement the chaos. So to basically have a framework within which the chaos can take its place to its fullest extent, in a way that is constructive, ideally constructive. So you can get the most amount of good out of chaos, because creativity is very chaotic. And if you look at the countries and cultures throughout history that have given us the most amount of innovation, yeah, they all seem batshit insane, crazy. And look at the world's greatest innovator today. I mean, that country and the population probably always seems crazy to everyone else, and batshit insane to everyone else. But there's a reason for that. And yeah, if you make everything too civilized, then yeah, it's going to be a cute and beautiful little society, but it's not going to accomplish a lot of things. So yeah, there is quite a bit to be said for freedom. Another point I want to bring, and I'm going back to this idea of pushing boundaries. See, if we can't wander and explore and try and push, not just try and push ourselves, but push others, and put the world, the entire world, and everything that's in it to test. We can't get to know ourselves properly. We can't get to know the world realistically, and it becomes very hard to grow as a person and figure out what you're capable of contributing as a person, and then to engage and negotiate your place out there in society and the world and with others, to put all of that capacity to work. So the absence of freedom is definitely, in my humble view, a reduction of the human capacity to contribute to the world. So I think we're killing the world's number one natural resource, which is the human mind. And, there are billions of us out there. That is a huge resource. It's a damn shame for every mind that doesn't get to realize itself. It's very much a loss. But then we can also question who's responsible for that. Is it everybody else's responsibility all the time to make sure that to give you the venue that that you need to let your mind flourish, or do you have to, should the responsibility be on your side, that you go out there, you create the venue for yourself, you carve out your space from within you which you can grow? And this is a constant conflict. And then to what extent should we all be expected to create the venue for each and every one, because we also need time to be working within our own venue, expanding ourselves. So this is it's a constant tug of war there as well. But yeah, the more freedom we have, to truly explore things and explore ourselves, I think we'll just have a deeper and more vivid sense of who we are and what the world is. I think more freedom, you get a more realistic view of things. Well, to the extent that you can make sense out of what you're going through and seeing and experiencing, then yeah. Another point I want to bring out, and this is there's something about the way that Norse mythology touches in on this through the god Odin. If you've watched any videos on this channel, you should have noticed that I talk about Norse mythology quite a bit, and I've mentioned Odin quite a bit. So, and he's the god of knowledge and poetry and wisdom and all these great wonderful. It's it's this such a metaphor to the fact that he's illustrated as a wanderer. He wanders the world and travels the world and shifts his, changes his ways and effort, challenges himself, and challenges or puts things to the test, and puts himself through hardship just for the sake of learning and growing sometimes. And there's something to that. Now, if he didn't have the ability to go out there and wander and explore and put things to the test and try things out, and sometimes in more constructive ways than others, sometimes in more productive ways than others. So and that's another beautiful part of it. He's not perfect from day one, but you follow him through the myths, you get to see someone grow and how they grow, and that's how you get the lesson. So yeah, he had the freedom to go out there and be Odin and grow as Odin and learn all these things and share them with us, and that speaks volumes to the merits of freedom. Just wanted to share that with you for now. Speaking out.